then there was light. Hey guys, Deathscyp here from Y.C.G. So we'll be working on light in this episode. I'm going to bring you new tricks on how to bring in multiple lighting and keep your scene to stay nice and smooth. Also, I created this little light beam up there. It's pretty simple. You have one square over here, one square here, one square here, another rectangle here, and then two cylinder. I just merged everything using the technique we did together, so you can recreate that if you want. So tune in and let's get going. Alright, so light-2 learnings. Since last year I learned a few new tricks and I wanted to give them to you guys to help you guys work with lighting, since it's very complicated when it comes to lighting to have a nice realistic touch. So the first thing is the reflection scene capture. So just on the top left, just write reflection, and you're gonna get the sphere reflection capture over here. So when the scene is black, I prefer to drag those in when it's all dark and no lights yet inside the scene, because then you're gonna really see the result. Like you see over here when I move it, you're gonna see on the platform, you see a light moving. And that's what I want. I want to align it with the first light. Normally if you align it with the first light, well, especially in my scene, since they're pretty much the same distance apart, you're going to see that now the mesh reflect inside my platform, my light, and if I go on the other side, it's going to work too, since they're about the same distance. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. When you bring in a capture reflection scene, it's a lot of fun because it brings a little realistic touch to all your meshes, even the platform below, especially when you work with metallic material and water material. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. Now let's jump into lighting. So delete that, go inside the light, and grab a point light inside the scene. I didn't delete the sphere, I just left it there. So, alright, so working with the light. So working with metallic material, the problem is that, let's say I wanted to have a nice reflection over here with my mesh, and I want the reflection to come from, let's say, up here. Alright, so the first problem we'd come across is right now I see the light inside the wall, and we don't want that, but we already learned in the first season how to remedy to that. We're going to remove the roughness. So we're going to put the roughness to 1, and there you go. Now you only have the shadow you wanted. Now this looks good before you build your scene, but when I'm going to build my scene, mind you, I'm in factory -2 now, so make sure you're in the right level before you do this, and hide the other levels if you don't need to. And when you're going to build, it's going to ask you to remove the unhide all the levels that were hidden. Just click yes to not do that. If you want to build everything at the same time, just click yes all or no to cancel. I do yes, don't show this message again, and then it's going to build, and I'm going to skip the build. Alright, so when you're done the building, this is what you get. The mesh is all going to go dark. And why is that? It's because it's a metallic material that you have on there. And this light, this is the way that the metallic reflects to the cast shadow feature that we have inside our scene. We're not going to delete, because we are not going to delete the light because we want to keep this shadow over here. What we're going to do is we're going to duplicate it, so Alt drag another light. Now this time we're going to bring this one more inside the middle. If you want to cover more ground, I'm going to show you little tricks, is the source radius and the source length over here. Playing with the radius is how big you want the center to be of the original light. You see over here it's getting bigger, and the length is how far you want it to travel in that distance. So you can imagine how good this feature comes in handy. Just like this, I can light up everything around here and just adjust the way I want it to be. I think this is pretty cool. It's just like this, and then you lit up everything around. Now why did I do another light is because I wanted to remember where my shadow was. So this one is close by to reflect the shadows, but it doesn't work well in the mesh. So how do I do to make this one reflect well on the mesh? Simple. I remove the shadow casting. Now it's not going to light up the material as a metallic anymore. It's just going to light up the mesh. So now I'm going to save all and build again. Yes. There you go. Now you kept the shadows because the first light is going to take care of the shadows, and the second light is going to light up the scene around and light the mesh the way you want it. And it's not going to ask for too much performance because you took out the shadow casting. It's really the shadow casting that really requires a lot when you build like light and when you jump inside your scene. So you want to make sure you have as least as possible, and you always make sure to like this one. I shouldn't have a use attenuation like this because I'm only giving shadow to this one thing over here. So 500 should be good. Now it's all going to go white because I need to rebuild after. And also there's a big white spot on the wall now, and to remove that it's pretty easy. Just remove a bit of the intensity. I put it to 1000. That's the I already found that this one is good. Now you just see the one in the back, and this one we can put it to 3500. But now the only problem we're coming across now is that it's not the right color. We want this color over here to be our scene color. And the best way to go get the color is you can click on the search button on the element of the blue neon and get to the material. And then if you click on color, you're going to see where the color is pretty much at. Oh, sorry, I have this over here. Well, I'm going to talk about this in a second, okay? You can choose the lane of color that you want. So you can't grab the color from here in that case because we did a little mathematical calcul in the material before, so it doesn't really apply to this over here for the color that we need. But we know now where to look about. So press OK and exit this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab one of the lights, drag it out, make sure to uncast shadow because we're going to need this light a lot, and we're going to bring it close to our floor for our neon, and then we're going to go find the color. Now the next thing I wanted to talk to you is color themes that I have over here. I'm going to delete this one, so if you want to delete it, just go inside over here, make sure you're clicking on it and delete and confirm. So I made that in a previous attempt of making this tutorial. And so now just what we need is we need to go get the color that we had, and it was around here. And just to make sure, I wrote it down so you can copy what I'm gonna write in the bottom here. I found the color that I really liked. It's D7E08. Enter. That's the color I wanted for the, doesn't have to be, not for, that was for the scene, not for the neon, but I still want to keep this one. So I'm gonna, this is how you create a theme. You find a color you like and you just drag it up and it's gonna save. Now let's say I wanted a little something a little more darker on this one. I want to stay in this line, so I can just go for darker. And let's say I like this better for the neon on the floor. I can just grab this and bring it to my scene. And there you go. Now you have the two colors, and you, like you saw before, there was 5. I don't know what's the given the maximum number you can do, but you can drag all the scene colors you want, and then when you build light and you want to drag in, it's just drag and drop. It's super easy. You can just click on the light over here, and let's say I wanted this one for my scene, and over here same thing for my, it's a scene light, so like this. And there you go. You already lit in everything around your bottom scene. Now if you want to play inside over here, you can click on the little arrow over here, and you can name your team, you can duplicate it, you can delete it, you can create new ones. So this is a very fun feature when it comes to colors, even for materials. So press OK. Now the only problems we have left over here is that it doesn't really cover my mesh, and I could just go and drag, but that would be very expensive for my program, for my light building, and I don't want that. So this is where again you can use the source link. So you can just bring this out, you're going to see this little yellow light coming out, and make sure to cover all. You see the light travels through, and make sure that it covers the whole ground, and then just bring it closer to the floor, and you're going to see the nice feature that we want. Apply. Now our neon is lit in. You see the yellow line doesn't go quite all the way up yet, maybe a little bit more, like this. Now I like the results. And you can lower or tweak the light the way you like it, and this is it. So using these methods, I'm gonna populate the level with light, and then we're gonna have a fully lit in scene. So I'm gonna speed up the video and let's do this. We can go ahead and build a light, see what's the end result. So build, yes. So here you go. Everything's lit in, and since I've only used a few cast shadows, so you're gonna notice that the ones on top I put cast shadow on, just so that it gives a little realistic feature if ever you need to see. But if I jump inside the scene right now, since there's only like 3 lights casting shadow, everything stays fully fluid. So I hope you enjoyed this, and the next episode we're gonna work on those 2 doors over here. We're gonna animate them with a matinee sequence. I might go through the matinee sequence real quick with you guys, since we already did a matinee sequence in the last season. It's just the door opening, but after that we're jumping right into a particle system to show you to do our first little animation when the door opens. So see you next time.